You ever get so hyped for a new game you drop the cash on the deluxe edition, you count down the days, the hours, the minutes, only for launch day to be a mess of bugs, glitches, and a giant day one patch? Yeah, it's an experience we've all had, and it is so frustrating. Today we're going to unpack that exact feeling, this weird paradox at the heart of modern gaming, why a game's biggest, most important day is so often its worst.
So, here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll get into the industry's obsession with day one. Then, we'll explore the paradox that creates. After that, we'll follow the money to see why unfinished is practically a business model. We'll ask if there's even a fix for this, and then wrap up with a pretty cool strategy that puts all the power back in your hands.
All right, let's kick things off with the day one obsession. I mean, what is it about this one single 24-hour window that has the entire games industry in a chokehold? Well, for those huge AAA games, you have to understand that the entire marketing machine, and I mean everything, is built to create one massive explosion on launch day. As our source points out, every trailer, every ad, every influencer preview is all laser-focused on one thing, getting the most people possible to hit buy in that first window. And you know what the #1 metric for success is in a publisher's eyes? It's the sales from day one. That's all the pre-orders, all the launch day buys, all rolled into one giant number. Seriously, this number is everything. It shapes the news, it makes shareholders happy, and it basically decides whether a multi-million-dollar project is seen as a hit or a miss.
Okay, so this crazy obsession with day one sales, it creates this massive contradiction. And that brings us right to the heart of this whole thing, the launch day paradox.
It just begs the question, right? If every single dollar and every marketing meeting is about making launch day this huge, monumental success, then why do so many of these blockbuster games show up feeling, incomplete, unpolished, or sometimes just flat out broken?
And this is where you can really see the two worlds collide. On one hand, you've got the marketing team's focus. Maximize those day one sales, dangle those pre-order bonuses, and build the hype to a fever pitch. But on the other hand, you have our reality as players. Choppy performance, huge day one patches we have to download, and sometimes they're even announcing future paid DLC, that's downloadable content, before the main game even works right.
And this is what's just so maddening about it all. As the source material argues, common sense would tell you that the absolute top priority should be a smooth, fun, high-quality experience at launch. Right? That's how you get glowing reviews, that's how you build a happy fan base, but that's not what's happening.
So why? Why doesn't that happen? Well, to figure that out, we've got to look at what's really driving the industry. It's time to follow the money.
Our source puts this in some pretty blunt terms. From a business perspective, a buggy launch isn't a problem that needs to be solved, because the goal isn't a perfect game on launch day. The goal is the biggest possible revenue number on launch day.
So let's really dig into that financial logic. The source lays out a few key reasons this keeps happening. First off, a bunch of complaints about bugs. To them, that's just noise compared to the massive river of cash that comes from selling DLC later on. Second, they know there's a hardcore group of fans who will buy the game on day one no matter what, just for the status of being first. Third, think about it. They can't force you to come back and play after they patch it, so getting your money up front is what really matters. And hey, if the game runs poorly, it's often just easiest to blame your PC or console, right? Man, that all sounds pretty cynical, doesn't it? Which, of course, leads to the billion-dollar question. Can this even be fixed? Is the industry ever going to change its ways? So, can we, as gamers, ever expect the industry to sort this out, to finally close the gap between the launch day hype and the launch day reality?
According to our source material, the answer to that question is, well, it's a pretty clear and resounding no. The author is convinced that a change is very, very unlikely.
And the reason is actually pretty simple. The way they do things now is just too profitable to give up. This whole idea of releasing perfectly polished, patch-free games like they did back in the day, it just doesn't fit with the modern business model, which is all about getting those big launch sales and then following it up with a long, profitable stream of paid content. Okay, so if the industry isn't going to change, does that mean we're just stuck? Not at all. And this brings us to a really cool and honestly empowering idea from the source, the patient gamer strategy. It's a really simple 3-step plan. Step 1, instead of buying on day one, you just wait for about a year. Step 2, You play the game after all the big updates, the bug fixes, and all the DLC has already come out. And step 3, you buy the Game of the Year or Complete Edition, very often for a huge discount or maybe even used.
And what's the result of being this patient? Well, it's a win for you on every single level. You get to play a better, more stable, less buggy version of the game. You get the entire experience with all the content included from the start, and you get it all for way, way cheaper. Plus, as the source points out, a year-old game is hardly going to look outdated. And with so many amazing games coming out all the time, you'll have plenty to play while you wait.
And that really brings us to a final interesting thought. In this age of nonstop hype trains and constant FOMO, the fear of missing out, maybe the ultimate power-up for a gamer isn't a new graphics card or a faster SSD. Maybe it's just a little bit of patience. Something to think about.